Hello, everyone. My name is Marina Massaroni, and this is my final project for the Healthy Lifestyle Care Provider class at Macomb Community College. I decided to do my topic on the causes and effects of underage drinking on the teenage mind and body. I felt like this was a topic prevalent to me and a lot of high schoolers and college-age students around the world, and so I chose to do this project to start to create awareness about the causes and effects of drinking on teenagers or underage adults. Here's an overview of what I'll be taking a look at in my presentation. Slide 3 is just about underage drinking in America, some small statistics about drinking and why students drink. Slides 4 and 5 are going to be my factors why students drink, just mainly the causes why students drink. Slides 6 and 7 are going to be the facts of drinking on the body, and where slides 8 and 9 are going to be the effects of drinking on the brain. Slides 10 and 11 are some final comments and images just to draw some attention to create awareness about the topic I'm doing, and slide 12 are my references. First, I want to start with underage drinking in the United States. So this data is from the Monitoring the Future. These surveys went out to about a few hundred high schools and colleges around the U.S., and here's the data that they picked up from it. They said that 29% of 18 or 20-year-olds repeated 5+ drinks in a row at least once in the past 30 days. That's about close to a third of 18 or 20-year-olds drinking underage. The next statistic that I found was 24% reported having 5+ drinks, 10% reporting having 10+ drinks, and 4% reported having 15+ drinks in a row in the past 2 weeks, which, looking at that, is a very short amount of time, and to have a lot of those drinks, 5+ drinks depending on your body size and your weight, could put you over the blood alcohol content of 0.08. So a lot of those students are above the legal limit, even though it's illegal underage, but a lot of those students are drinking above the legal limit. From ages 19 to 20, those living with their parents showed a significant lower amounts of alcohol usage than those living without their parents. The freedom coming from college allows students to get access to those things without their parents knowing. So people tend to, away from home, tend to find themselves more with the substance. Another statistic I found was 29.6% of young adults, reported usual sustained intoxication. This means that they were having significant amounts of alcohol, putting them over the 0.08 blood alcohol concentration sustained. So over periods of time, maybe they were getting over that blood alcohol concentration multiple times in a week or multiple weekends in a row. And however, here's one good statistic that I found was that there has been historical decreases with 5+ drinks and 10+ drinks in 2005, 2006 to 2011, 2013. So there has been a decrease in the amount of alcohol using. However, the 15+ drinks have shown sustained drinking habits within the United States. The graph on the right shows the comparison of alcohol using adolescents using alcohol over tobacco and marijuana, which the blue line is alcohol. So in all three ages 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 to 17, you can see that the blue line is higher. Marijuana comes up a little bit behind that, but a lot of students underage have been using alcohol more than other substances. So my next slide is about why students drink, the external factors. So peer pressure to drink from offers, modeling, and social norms. A lot of college students, it's the norm to drink, to go out on Saturday nights. Offers, it's always offered to people, and modeling. You see your friends doing it, you are most likely going to take part in it. On college campus, there are many social events that involve the use of alcohol, such as spring break or frats and sororities or other events like that, which exposes students to alcohol and the use of alcohol. The next statistic is many underage drinkers grow up watching their parents drink alcohol. More students that parents are okay with drinking alcohol are underage drinkers because they see it okay with their parents and they partake in it. On college campuses, there's an easy access and the cost is low for alcohol. Students can find themselves drinking alcohol for cheaper than most other substances, which is easy, and there's party stores almost every corner. And if you look on maps around the United States, you can see that party stores are more concentrated around college campuses and stuff like that. It just makes it easier for students to get access to those. And many college parties include drinking games, which creates a requirement for those to drink. So a lot of you're taking part in beer pong or other events, you're required to drink. If you lose, you drink, which just increases the amount of drinking underage students. And the graph on the right shows parents and kids where they get their alcohol from. So most is from family and friends. A little bit less is from stores, and a lot don't know. And some people even take alcohol from strangers, which produces a whole nother risk. But those are just like some statistics showing that underage drinkers that see their parents do it and their parents are okay with it and they're supplying it creates a greater demand for those substances. Here's some internal factors why students drink is a group identity. People feel they need to fit in with the crowd, or to cope. College is very stressful, and people tend to find themselves using more and more alcohol during these times when life is stressful. People with social anxiety go to parties and they drink alcohol to avoid that communication with others, the social aspect. They have anxiety, they use alcohol to relieve those stresses by loosening up their brains. This fact is for women and for girls experience sexual assault, she is more likely to binge drink. It's another way of coping through your issues, and people also like the feeling of how they drink. They feel more relaxed. They feel they feel carefree. They are less stressed. They have less anxiety. So they like the feeling of being drunk because it lets them be released from their normal ways. Next, I'm going to talk about the immediate effects of drinking on the body. People always say they feel hungover or events like that. So it can cause nausea or an upset stomach just because of the stomach having to break that down. Hale said that there can be a dulled sense of smell and taste while drinking. People can kind of lose that taste of alcohol and they just continually drink it. Drinking alcohol makes you dehydrated, so a lot of people need to drink water while they're drinking because they lose a lot of hydration and water when they drink. And the smaller your body is, the faster the alcohol can affect you. So women have less quantities of stomach enzymes that neutralize alcohol. That's how you see a lot of women can drink less and be affected in the same ways. And then the image on the right is organs impacted by alcohol. I think many people forget how many organs can be affected. So the brain, the heart, the esophagus, the pancreas, the liver, the stomach. There's so many. Your whole digestive tract, your whole internal organs are affected when you drink, especially when you're starting those at a younger age. The long-term effects of drinking on the body are quite severe, and many people tend to forget about them. One fact is weight gain. People tend to forget that alcohol has lots of calories, lots of fat, or have as many calories as fat. Therefore, they drink excessively, they experience weight gain. Sometimes people call it a beer belly. Another thing is peptic ulcers and bleeding of the stomach lining. The stomach loses the alcohol breaks down the lining of the stomach and it thins that lining. So over time, if you're excessively drinking alcohol, that lining around your stomach is thinned and can become irritated. It can also lead to alcohol hepatitis or cirrhosis of the liver. That is like when an image above is shows the stages of liver disease, and cirrhosis is severe scarring of the liver, and the scar tissue never fully really heals, and then cirrhosis can lead to cancer if not stopped or prevented or treated. Alcohol can also weaken the heart muscle, causing cardiomyopathy. That puts more stress on the heart, which it opens the ventricles to take in more blood, so the ventricle has to push more blood out when it contracts. This puts a lot of stress on the heart, which can lead to heart failure. There are so many cancers that can be caused from excessive drinking, such as oral, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, liver, colon, pancreas, and female breast. That just seems to be a huge causing cancer agent, and then also can lead to the decrease of white blood cell production. So your ability to fight off diseases becomes decreased when you drink because they lose all of that. You lose that alcohol and other, or you lose the white blood cells that fight off those infections because you were drinking alcohol. And the picture on the left shows some of the effects, such as reproduction dysfunction, pancreatitis, which is inflammation of the pancreas, chronic heart failure, damage to brain function, atherosclerosis, and cirrhosis. And now we're going to switch over to the effects on the brain. Here are the immediate effects on the brain when you're drinking. They include loss of concentration, memory, judgment, fine motor controls, mood swings, and emotional outbursts. People tend to cry a lot. They have atypical behavior, which they would not normally exhibit when they were sober. They may be happy one moment and upset the other moment. When they drink, they have intense sense of time, space, and noise. Sometimes even light. They kind of lose that frontal cortex of your brain that is aware of all of these things. When students drink, they might be more interested in sexual activities. This can be a risk because not always do the sexual activities come with protective behavior, and people tend to have, when you are under the influence of alcohol, your responses to those men, especially, like the erection, becomes slower just because of their ability, like just because of the alcohol that has influenced their body. So people tend to engage in those activities and they last longer and they're not performed safely. And then last thing is snoring and sleep problems can occur after drinking. Light sleep, snoring. Another major effect is like memory loss. You forget what's going on. You don't remember the night, and sometimes you do things that you may not normally do because your risk and reward kind of factor in your brain is gone. Next are the long-term effects of drinking on the brain. These are pretty serious, and I think people forget that these are a part. So there's decreased gray matter on the frontal cortex and the cerebellum of the brain, and decreased white matter. The gray matter develops long into your life. So when you're underage drinking, it does not get to fully develop, and that is like your decision making. So a lot of times you make decisions when you're drinking that you not normally would make, and that can lead to a decrease in gray matter because that takes till about 25 for it to fully develop. And then with this decrease of gray matter and white matter, it also leads to a decrease in brain size. So many people say that people who are heavy drinkers have smaller brains. Another effect is the neurotransmitter releasing dopamine. When you drink, the neurotransmitter releases dopamine, making you feel good, which is why people like to drink. They like the feeling of being good. And so that ultimately increases people's desire for alcohol. Like I said before, the brain is still developing to age 25, so underage drinkers may carry all these emotional states and mental states to adulthood because the frontal cortex of their brain does not fully develop, and they lose those skills to make judgments, to the risk-reward part of your brain, and all the stuff like that. And then a cerebellum is affected. Many heavy drinkers experience cerebellar atrophy. The image on the right shows a 15-male non-drinker and a 15-year-old male heavy drinker, which is still pretty young. That's 6 years under the legal limit, and their brain activity. Look at how much different the red is and how much different the heavy drinker is. They have barely any splotches of red. So there is a great effect of alcohol on the brain, and many people seem to forget that, but it is very prevalent, and you need to think more about the long term than just the short term, because many people just like get over the short term and they sometimes forget of what's going to happen to them. Some final comments I want to make about underage drinking is that it is a leading cause of death around the world. People are always dying from drunk driving accidents or injuries or other stuff like that, and people all around the world just need to be aware of that, to do, when you're of age, to drink safely, to drink moderately, to have control. People tend to live for the moment and forget consequences of their actions. They get caught up in the moment, they're peer pressured, and they give in to drinking. Some people say they're going to hold their boundaries, and they give in to that. One way to improve the effects is to create awareness. Creating awareness is a huge thing. People sometimes don't know the effects. Sometimes they're doing it just to fit in or to cope or to do stuff, and they don't really know. A lot of commercials show alcohol being drinking and enjoyed, and some people don't show the negative effects. Creating those out there, getting that advertisement out there, people will be able to see that and be able to grow from it. But there has been a decrease in adolescent drinking throughout the country, which is significant because as we keep growing, we can keep continuing to grow and create awareness and keep decreasing, which is very much a positive statistic for this type of event. And like I said, most people forget these long-term effects and they focus on the short term. But most of these term effects can be irreversible, and some of them can even be deadly, like heart failure or other like events that can occur can be deadly. So even though people don't think that it could affect them, it can happen to anyone. And here are some images. Here are all of the brain, esophageal, lungs, liver, stomach, pancreas, muscular, and heart. Just all of those symptoms and effects of alcoholism, just to recognize in people. And here are the underage drinking related to death. As I said, a lot of deaths around the world come from underage drinking, and a lot of them see traffic deaths, homicides, suicides, because you lose that front part of your brain which makes your decisions, which judges what is right and wrong. Alcohol poisoning is another one. Falls, fires, drownings, because you're not fully aware and you lose some of that fine motor skill to complete the activities that you would normally be able to do if you were sober. And here are my references to my project. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.